I think that we can basically solve the world's problems with trees and Bitcoin.
Dan with Dan, Dan with Jen, Dan with Dan, Dan with Dan, Dan with Jen.
Drew, welcome to 10 with Jen, where I ask 10 out of 10s like yourself 10 questions in around 10 minutes to get to know you in a fun way.
Happy to be here.
A little bit about you. Andrew Rosener is a pioneering force in the domain name industry, founding Media Options, a reputable brokerage firm that has facilitated over $700 million in transactions since 2008. Notable deals include the sale of X.com to Elon Musk, Podcast.com to Amazon, and Zoom.com to Zoom, among many others. A Domain Name Hall of Fame inductee and Domain Investor of the Year by Traffic, Andrew is also the creator of the Rosener Equation, a widely adopted formula for objectively valuing domain names. As the owner of Domain Sherpa, the leading educational podcast for domain name professionals, Andrew is known for his direct and bold opinions and balances his thriving career with family life, travel, and holistic health. How are you, Drew Backer?
That was such a generous description.
Generous with a J, right? Okay.
Oh, that should be your new AKA. Generous.
Too generous.
Yeah, generous with a J.
So before we dive in, I did want to just take like a little moment before we start to thank you for being my very special guest today. You're my 10th guest on 10 with Jen. It feels kind of full circle because the show actually started with a random segment on Domain Sherpa around 6 months ago when I very clumsily asked you 10 questions out of the blue. What is the scariest animal?
Ticks.
Okay, you get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
I don't know. Sound of silence. I don't know.
What would your bonus item be on Naked and Afraid?
I don't even know what naked and afraid is.
What makes your heart smile?
Nothing.
So this is pretty much all your fault. Okay, Drew, are you ready for your 10 with Jen?
Let's rock.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Oh, obviously crunchy.
Gosh, why?
You're boring if you just have smooth peanut butter.
I kind of feel
Give me a
like...
little nut.
What is your biggest pet peeve in life?
I mean, I really don't like stupid people. I really don't. It makes me very uncomfortable when I just hear stupid people talking, saying stupid things, and they really are convinced that they're right and they're just stupid. It kind of makes my brain hurt and I start shaking and I don't know really what to do. I become uncontrollably uncomfortable.
As a collector of gems and artifacts, what is your favorite item?
Oh, my favorite thing that I have collected would be a at scale model. I think it's like 6 feet. It's a Falcon 9 rocket. It's an actual functioning Falcon 9 rocket that Elon Musk sent me after I got him X.com. So
What?
it's like a signed Falcon 9 rocket. But the problem is that it's at my mother's house and I can probably never ever get it to my house because I think it's like, it's like a actual like rocket. It's like I think I'd be
Wow.
arrested for trying to ship that overseas.
Being very selective about your inner circle, what qualities do you consider essential for a genuine friendship?
For me, the basis for any relationship, certainly for a close friendship, inner circle friendship, would be trust. And then also probably contrary to what most people would believe, I appreciate when people push back on me. I appreciate when people tell me, hey, I think you're wrong, or hey, you should think about it this way, or hey, I really I have zero interest in yes people. I don't like yes people. Doesn't do anything. I clearly don't need my ego stroked. So I really just I like, intelligent, confident, trustworthy people. That's what I like in my inner circle.
I've heard you're a bit of a tree hugger. How does spending time in nature contribute to your physical and mental health?
I like trees more than I like people. I love trees. I love everything about trees. I'm fascinated by trees. I photograph trees. I plant trees. I particularly really like oaks, different types of oaks. When I find a really beautiful oak tree, and it's the right season, like now, I take the acorns and I propagate them at home, and then I go plant them in places that I like.
Oh, wow.
I love trees. I think trees are the answer to so many problems. I think that we can basically solve the world's problems with trees and Bitcoin.
Oh, I love that. I love trees too.
You want to see my favorite tree?
Yes, show me. Oh, wow.
It's a 2,000-year-old olive tree.
As a free thinker, is there a conspiracy theory that particularly fascinates you and may send others down a rabbit hole?
All right, I got one for y'all.
Oh, no.
In the late 1800s, Nikola Tesla was, at his tail end of his career, but it was, really at his peak in inventions and recognition, etc. And he was living in New York, and in his building next door, his next door neighbor was a guy named Ingersoll Lockwood. He wrote a series of stories called the Baron
What?
Trump novels. Yes,
What?
the Baron Trump novels. This is literally written in 1890, 134 years ago. This book is written. Okay, this is actually three stories: travels and adventures of little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger, Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey, and 1900 or the last president. Anyways, Baron Trump is this boy and his dog Bulger, and they go on these journeys, and he's helped by this guy named Donald, coincidentally. And Donald helps him to find this portal, which is in Russia, where he's then able to time travel and journey to the center of the earth kind of thing, and goes on all these crazy adventures and becomes a president, has a vice president named Pence, literally named Pence, like Mike Pence, right?
No.
The former vice president of Donald Trump. Yes, it's all in the book. This is a very easy read. There's a lot more to it.
Did they time travel?
There's really,
like, what's going on?
I don't know. But there's a lot to this. There's so many details that I'm not recalling at the moment. Sure, maybe Trump admired Ingersoll Lockwood. He named Baron after Baron. Who knows? Maybe, right? But that doesn't explain all the other stuff, right?
No.
It's too strange. And then to make matters even more complicated, during the Manhattan Project, or prior to the Manhattan Project, which is where the United States, developed the nuclear bomb, a gentleman who was he was the top nuclear researcher at MIT. He was a professor at MIT, and had some government, somehow was, involved in the government. He was asked to review all of Nikola Tesla's materials to find out if there was something in there that could help with the development of this bomb or some other type of form of, weapon that could help them win World War II. That person was none other than John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. So the only person in modern history to have any access and to understand and have the ability to even understand Tesla's notes and Tesla's research was Donald Trump's uncle. And anyways, the whole thing is very, very strange and inexplicable. There's a lot there.
Wow.
But I would suggest, you get this book,
yeah.
probably $30, and you read these little stories, and then ask yourself, how is this possible?
Do you believe there are benefits to natural psychedelics and plant-based therapies? And if so, what are they?
Oh, I don't believe. I know.
100%.
And the evidence is abundantly clear.
Yes.
I have experienced firsthand myself many of the benefits, and I've witnessed it firsthand with other people in my universe firsthand, including literally just a few weeks ago with one of my best friends. There are an immense number of benefits that are being readily documented in peer-reviewed studies. with Johns Hopkins and what is it in London? You have the King's College in London, I think Oxford as well. So there's a ton of clinical research being done. What I find with psilocybin, though, is that it's not just a sort of miracle drug, like, oh, just strap yourself in, take it, and it's all good. There is, people talk about set and setting, intention. And I find that these are actually really important elements of a psychedelic experience. I think that you need to enter it in the right frame of mind. You need to enter it with the right intention. You need to go into it knowing that basically you're going to be tortured by that intention. That's actually kind of the point. The best analogy I've ever heard, for me at least, the one that resonated the best was, imagine a ski slope. So you are, when you get onto a ski slope, and let's say it's, the middle of the afternoon, thousands of people have already skied that slope. When you go to start skiing, you are going to follow the tracks of the people that have come before you, right? And because it's the path of least resistance. The path has been laid out for you. You know this path. There's no uncertainty. And so that's the path you take. And when you take psychedelics, it's like a fresh snowfall that covers those tracks. And now you're left with basically a blank slate to say, I can ski wherever I want. There's no preset way for me to get down this hill. And so taking psychedelics is like a fresh coat of snow on a ski slope that allows you to basically take a fresh track.
If you had to hold one asset for the next 10 years without selling, would you choose 100 Bitcoin or the domain name x.com?
All right, so let's do this. Let's say x.com, I think it's a $100 million domain.
Yep.
So you got 100 Bitcoin, let's just round up, call Bitcoin 100 grand. We'll be there soon enough. So that's, $10 million over the next 10 years. Yeah, it's probably roughly $1 billion. So, you're talking about, take the Bitcoin.
Ooh.
X.com is valuable as it is and as valuable as it may be. There is uncertainty. Probably the amount of uncertainty is about the same between Bitcoin and X.com as a domain name. But it's probably a push on the uncertainty. But it's the domain is less liquid.
You're stranded on an island with the Sherpas. Who would you eat first?
Probably eat you.
Why?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know about the killing part, but if it's just like here, served up on a platter, here's JT, Josh, Braden, the whole cast of characters. I'm gonna probably eat you. Just how it is. You also eat healthy, probably get a little more nutritional value. If I eat JT, it's like, eating a Snickers bar.
You've experienced great success in business and you love to win. That said, what is a significant loss you've experienced that turned out to be just as valuable as any accolade you have received?
The biggest lesson from loss I've had, at least financially or business-wise, was we owned Solana.com, and I sold Solana.com to the Solana Foundation, to Anatoly and Raj, and I think we agreed on $350,000, and Raj asked if he could pay in his token. Anyways, I passed on that. That would have been call it 550,000 of Solana tokens at a price of 2 cents that I left on the table. Now, granted, I definitely wouldn't have held it all. I definitely wouldn't have sold it all at the top, but definitely I left, somewhere between probably 500 million and call it, $2 billion on the table. I learned a lesson that I already had learned, and I seem to have forgotten in that moment, which was risk is your friend. Uh, every time I take big, bold risk, only one of two things happens. Either I have an enormous success, whatever form that takes. It could be intellectual, could be financial, could be, you know, whatever. Or I learn a really important lesson. That's it. There's no third outcome. So as long as you're taking considered risk, um, keep taking risk. Just keep taking risk. That's the only way you can change your trajectory, outperform your past performance, outperform your peers, outperform the market, outperform whatever it is you're trying to do. Most of us, at least in our minds, at least emotionally, we may not act like it, but most of us want to do better than we did yesterday. Most of us want to be better than we were yesterday. Most of us want to do better than our parents did. Most of us want our kids to do better than we did. And all of that depends upon risk taking, all of it. So the lesson is never, ever, ever, until the day you die, don't stop taking considered risk.
Drew, thank you so much for today. You've now been Tend with Jen.
Thank you. Very happy to have been Tend with Jen.
That's probably going to make people talk as well. So we'll just go on to the last question. Oh, boy.